Vitamin D is essential for our health. It plays a critical role in bone density, immune system regulation, mood balance, and even in reducing the risk of chronic diseases such as cardiovascular conditions and certain types of cancer. Yet, while sunlight is the most natural and effective source of vitamin D, there's a major catch: unprotected sun exposure can damage your skin, accelerate aging, and increase the risk of skin cancer. So how do you strike a balance? How can you ensure optimal levels of vitamin D without putting your skin at risk? In this comprehensive guide from ThriveSphere, we'll break down everything you need to know, from smart sun exposure tips and vitamin D-rich foods to supplements and lifestyle strategies that help you maintain optimal health safely and effectively. Chapter 1: Why Vitamin D Matters, Expanded. Vitamin D is far more than just a vitamin. It's a prohormone, which means your body converts it into a hormone that affects virtually every system in the body. Unlike most other nutrients, vitamin D can be synthesized naturally by your skin when exposed to sunlight, making it both unique and essential. However, due to modern indoor lifestyles, sunscreen use, and environmental factors, deficiency has become a silent global epidemic. 1. Bone health and calcium regulation. One of the most well-known roles of vitamin D is in maintaining strong and healthy bones. It facilitates the absorption of calcium and phosphorus from your digestive tract, minerals that are the primary building blocks of bone tissue. Without sufficient vitamin D, your body struggles to absorb these minerals effectively, which can lead to osteomalacia, softening of bones, in adults; rickets in children; osteoporosis, and an increased risk of fractures in older adults. Vitamin D also supports osteoblast activity, the process by which new bone is formed, and regulates parathyroid hormone, PTH, levels, which when elevated, can pull calcium out of your bones, weakening them over time. 2. Immune system modulation. Vitamin D is critical for a resilient immune system. It enhances the pathogen-fighting abilities of monocytes and macrophages, the body's frontline defense cells. These cells recognize and destroy invaders like viruses, bacteria, and fungi. Moreover, vitamin D helps regulate the immune response, meaning it doesn't just stimulate immune activity, but also helps prevent overreactions like inflammation or autoimmune conditions. People with low levels of vitamin D have been shown to be at greater risk for infections such as influenza, respiratory tract infections, autoimmune diseases like multiple sclerosis and type 1 diabetes. 3. Mood and brain function. Vitamin D receptors are found in areas of the brain involved in mood regulation, such as the hippocampus. Low levels of vitamin D have been linked to seasonal affective disorder, SAD, depression, cognitive decline, and an increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. Vitamin D is believed to affect the synthesis of key neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which play a role in happiness, motivation, and emotional regulation. 4. Inflammation reduction and chronic disease prevention. Chronic inflammation is at the root of many modern diseases, from heart disease to diabetes, arthritis, and cancer. Vitamin D plays a key role in modulating the inflammatory response, helping your body to keep inflammation in check. It achieves this by influencing genes that control cytokine production, chemical messengers that trigger inflammation. In people with chronic low-grade inflammation, improving vitamin D status has been shown to reduce markers like C-reactive protein, CRP, and interleukin-6, Illinois-6. 5. Hormonal balance and endocrine health. Vitamin D has significant effects on your body's hormonal systems. It enhances insulin sensitivity and supports pancreatic function, playing a role in preventing type 2 diabetes. It contributes to thyroid regulation, indirectly supporting energy levels, metabolism, and overall hormonal harmony. In women, vitamin D is involved in regulating estrogen and progesterone balance, making it essential for menstrual health, fertility, and menopause support. 6. Muscle strength and fall prevention. Vitamin D also plays an important role in maintaining muscle function, especially in older adults. Deficiency can lead to muscle weakness and increase the risk of falls, which are a leading cause of injury and mortality in the elderly. Multiple studies have shown that supplementation with vitamin D in deficient individuals can improve balance, coordination, and muscle strength, particularly in the legs. The global epidemic of deficiency. Despite its importance, vitamin D deficiency is shockingly widespread. According to global health estimates, over 1 billion people worldwide have insufficient levels of vitamin D. In the US alone, more than 40% of adults are considered deficient. The rates are even higher in darker skin populations, elderly individuals, and people living in northern climates. Why so many are deficient? Indoor lifestyles. We spend most of our time inside homes, offices, or cars. Sunscreen use. While important for skin protection, SPF blocks UVB rays needed for vitamin D synthesis. Air pollution. Smog and haze can filter out UVB rays, reducing natural synthesis. Geographic location. People living far from the equator receive less UVB during fall and winter months. Aging. As we age, our skin becomes less efficient at producing vitamin D. Obesity. Vitamin D is sequestered in fat tissue, making it less bioavailable in people with high body fat. The takeaway. Vitamin D is foundational for health. It supports your bones, immune system, mood, hormones, muscles, and more. Yet modern life has created a perfect storm for widespread deficiency. This makes it all the more important to understand how to safely and effectively maintain healthy vitamin D levels without compromising your skin's health or putting yourself at risk. In the chapters ahead, we'll explore exactly how to do that. Stay tuned. Chapter 2: The Problem with Sun Exposure, Expanded. Sunlight is the most natural and efficient way for your body to produce vitamin D, a process that begins when ultraviolet B, UVB, rays from the sun interact with a cholesterol derivative in your skin. This interaction triggers a complex chemical reaction, ultimately converting inactive vitamin D into its active form, which the body can use for numerous vital functions. However, the sun's rays are a double-edged sword. While they are essential for vitamin D synthesis, overexposure can cause serious harm to your skin and overall health. Understanding the risks and the science behind different types of ultraviolet radiation is crucial for safely balancing your need for vitamin D with protecting your skin. How sunlight creates vitamin D. When UVB rays hit your skin, they convert 7-dehydrocholesterol, a compound found in the skin, into pre-vitamin D3. This is then transformed by body heat into vitamin D3, cholecalciferol, which is transported to the liver and kidneys where it becomes the active hormone, calcitriol. This natural synthesis provides up to 90% of the body's vitamin D needs under ideal conditions. But the challenge lies in obtaining just enough sun exposure to activate this process without causing skin damage. The risks of UV radiation exposure. Both UVB and UVA rays are components of sunlight that reach the Earth's surface, but they affect your skin differently. UVB rays. Function. UVB rays primarily affect the outer layer of the skin, the epidermis. These rays are responsible for producing vitamin D but can also cause sunburn. Damage. UVB radiation damages the DNA in skin cells, leading to mutations. When these mutations accumulate, they increase the risk of skin cancers, including basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma, and the more dangerous melanoma. Intensity. UVB intensity varies by time of day, season, latitude, and altitude. It is strongest between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. during the summer months. Skin reaction. The redness and pain from sunburn are clear signs that UVB has damaged the skin. UVA rays. Function. UVA rays penetrate deeper into the skin, reaching the dermis where collagen and elastin fibers reside. Damage. These rays contribute significantly to premature skin aging, also called photoaging, by breaking down collagen and damaging elastin, causing wrinkles, loss of skin elasticity, and pigmentation changes such as age spots. Skin cancer. UVA rays also contribute to DNA damage and skin cancer development, albeit indirectly. Unlike UVB, UVA rays penetrate through glass windows and cloud cover. Constant presence. UVA rays are present with relatively consistent intensity throughout the day and year, unlike UVB rays which fluctuate. Sunburn, the immediate danger. Sunburn occurs when your skin is exposed to excessive UVB radiation, leading to cellular damage and an inflammatory response. The severity ranges from mild redness to blistering and peeling. Why is sunburn harmful? It indicates DNA damage in skin cells. It increases the risk of skin cancer, especially with repeated sunburns during childhood or adolescence. It accelerates skin aging by triggering oxidative stress and inflammation. Even one severe sunburn can double the risk of developing melanoma later in life. Long-term consequences of excessive sun exposure. Premature aging, photoaging. Sun exposure causes up to 80% of visible signs of aging on the skin. Chronic UVA and UVB exposure damages collagen and elastin, leading to wrinkles, sagging, leathery texture, and uneven pigmentation. This process is irreversible and cumulative. Skin cancer. Skin cancer is the most common type of cancer globally. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, 2 to 3 million non-melanoma skin cancers and approximately 132,000 melanoma skin cancers occur annually worldwide. UV radiation is the primary environmental risk factor. Immune system suppression in the skin. Excessive UV radiation can weaken the skin's immune defenses, making it harder for your body to detect and repair early cancerous changes and fight off infections. Eye damage. UV rays can also harm your eyes, contributing to cataracts, macular degeneration, and photokeratitis, sunburn of the cornea. Balancing vitamin D production and skin protection. Understanding the distinct roles of UVA and UVB rays helps in making informed decisions about sun exposure. UVB rays are necessary for vitamin D production but also cause sunburn. UVA rays cause deep skin aging and contribute to cancer risk, but do not assist in vitamin D synthesis. This means protecting your skin from both UVA and UVB is essential, but you don't need to completely avoid the sun. Factors influencing UV exposure and skin damage. Several factors affect how UV radiation impacts your skin and vitamin D synthesis. Skin type. Fair-skinned individuals burn faster and produce vitamin D more quickly but need less sun exposure. Geographic location. UVB rays are weaker at higher latitudes, especially during winter months. Time of day. UVB intensity peaks midday, while UVA is more constant. Altitude. UV radiation increases with altitude. Weather conditions. Clouds, pollution, and glass reduce UVB penetration. Clothing and sunscreens. These block UV rays, affecting vitamin D production and skin damage risk. Summary. While sunlight is critical for vitamin D synthesis, unprotected and prolonged exposure to UV radiation carries significant risks including sunburn, premature skin aging, and skin cancer. Understanding the difference between UVA and UVB rays, and how they affect your skin and health, is the first step toward finding a balanced approach that maximizes vitamin D benefits while minimizing harm. In the following chapters, we will explore how to get enough vitamin D safely through smart sun exposure strategies, diet, supplementation, and lifestyle choices. Chapter 3: Smart Sun Exposure, Expanded. Achieving optimal vitamin D levels through sunlight doesn't mean recklessly baking in the sun for hours or risking painful sunburns. In fact, with the right knowledge and mindful practices, you can harness the benefits of the sun safely and effectively. This chapter dives deep into practical strategies for getting enough vitamin D without compromising your skin health. 1. Time of day matters. The importance of UVB intensity. Vitamin D synthesis in your skin is primarily triggered by ultraviolet B, UVB, rays, and their intensity varies throughout the day. UVB rays are most potent when the sun is at its highest point in the sky, typically between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. During these hours, the angle of the sun allows more UVB radiation to penetrate the atmosphere and reach your skin. Why does timing matter? Vitamin D production is most efficient during peak UVB hours. Exposing your skin during this time can maximize vitamin D synthesis in a relatively short period. However, the intensity of UVB also means your risk of skin damage increases if you stay out too long without protection. How long should you stay in the sun? The ideal exposure time varies widely depending on your skin tone, location, and environmental conditions. For lighter skin types, Fitzpatrick skin types 1 to 3, just 10 to 15 minutes of sun exposure to arms and legs can generate adequate vitamin D. For medium to darker skin tones, Fitzpatrick skin types 4 to 6, 20 to 30 minutes or longer might be necessary due to the protective effect of melanin. Short, controlled sun exposure sessions spaced throughout the week are preferable to long, intense sunbathing sessions that increase the risk of skin damage. 2. Skin tone and geography, customizing sun exposure. Your skin color and where you live dramatically affect how much sun exposure you need. Skin tone. Lighter skin contains less melanin, which means it produces vitamin D more quickly but is also more susceptible to UV damage and burns. People with very fair skin should be especially cautious about overexposure. Darker skin, melanin acts like a natural sunscreen, absorbing UV rays and reducing DNA damage but also limiting the UVB rays available for vitamin D synthesis. People with darker skin often require 3 to 10 times longer sun exposure to produce the same amount of vitamin D compared to lighter skin types. Geography. Latitude and season, the closer you are to the equator, the stronger and more direct the UVB rays year-round. As you move farther from the equator, UVB intensity decreases, especially in fall and winter months. At latitudes above approximately 37 degrees north or S, UVB radiation is insufficient during the winter for vitamin D synthesis. Higher altitudes receive more intense UV radiation because the atmosphere is thinner. Weather conditions, cloud cover, pollution, and shade can significantly reduce UVB exposure. Urban versus rural settings, tall buildings, trees, and other obstacles can limit sunlight reaching your skin. These factors mean that people living in northern climates, urban environments, or regions with long winters need to be more deliberate about their sun exposure or rely more heavily on dietary sources and supplementation. 3. Avoid sunburn at all costs. Protect your skin. Sunburn is a clear sign of skin damage from excessive UV exposure, and it dramatically increases the risk of skin cancer and premature aging. The key is to get just enough sun for vitamin D without tipping into harmful overexposure. Signs you've had enough sun. Your skin begins to feel warm or slightly pink. Any visible redness means you should stop sun exposure immediately. Tips to prevent sunburn. Start slow, especially if you're not used to sun exposure. Begin with short periods and gradually increase. Wear protective clothing. Lightweight, long-sleeved shirts, wide-brimmed hats, and sunglasses help protect vulnerable areas. Apply mineral-based sunscreens. Ingredients like zinc oxide and titanium dioxide offer broad-spectrum protection without penetrating the skin or harming vitamin D production on uncovered areas. Focus on sensitive regions such as your face, neck, and shoulders. Avoid tanning beds. Artificial UV sources carry similar risks without providing health benefits. 4. Expose larger, less sensitive areas. Strategic sunbathing. When aiming for vitamin D synthesis, it's more effective and safer to expose larger but less sensitive parts of your body instead of just your face or hands. Why avoid the face? The skin on your face is thinner and more delicate. It's constantly exposed to environmental stressors, increasing the risk of pigmentation changes, wrinkles, and skin cancers. The face often receives incidental sun exposure through windows or daily outdoor activities, so it usually doesn't require deliberate sunbathing. Better areas to expose. Arms and shoulders. These areas have ample surface area and thicker skin. Legs, usually covered but excellent for vitamin D production when exposed. Back and torso, if privacy and weather allow, exposing these larger areas maximizes vitamin D synthesis. Additional tips. Change the exposed area each session to avoid overexposure in one place. Rotate sun exposure during the week to balance benefits and reduce damage. Bonus tips for safe sun exposure. Hydrate well. Sun exposure can dehydrate your skin and body. Drink plenty of water. Listen to your body. If you feel uncomfortable or your skin feels irritated, seek shade immediately. Combine with diet and supplements. Smart sun exposure is part of a holistic approach to maintaining vitamin D status without overexposure risks. By understanding these nuanced factors, time of day, skin tone, geographic location, and protective measures, you can tailor your sun exposure to meet your vitamin D needs safely. This intelligent approach enables you to enjoy the many health benefits of sunlight while minimizing skin damage and long-term risks. Chapter 4: Vitamin D from Food Sources, Expanded. While sunlight remains the most natural and effective way to boost your vitamin D levels, relying solely on sun exposure can be challenging or even risky, especially for those living in northern latitudes, people with sensitive skin, or individuals with limited outdoor time. Fortunately, your diet can play a crucial role in maintaining healthy vitamin D levels throughout the year. Why food sources matter. Vitamin D is found naturally in only a limited number of foods. This scarcity makes it vital to be intentional about what you eat if you want to support your vitamin D status through diet. Moreover, many people, especially those with darker skin tones or older adults whose skin produces less vitamin D, may find dietary vitamin D particularly important. Dietary vitamin D complements sun exposure and supplementation, creating a well-rounded strategy to ensure your body gets enough of this essential nutrient. Top natural food sources of vitamin D. 1. Fatty fish. Fatty fish are among the richest natural sources of vitamin D. This group includes salmon, especially wild-caught. A single 3.5-ounce, 100-gram serving can provide between 400 to 700 IU of vitamin D, which is a substantial portion of the daily recommended intake. Mackerel contains high levels of vitamin D, along with heart-healthy omega-3 fatty acids. Sardines, often eaten canned, sardines provide vitamin D and are also a convenient source of calcium. Tuna, canned light tuna contains vitamin D, but in lesser amounts compared to fresh fatty fish. Fatty fish not only boost vitamin D levels but also provide essential omega-3 fatty acids, which have additional health benefits such as reducing inflammation and supporting cardiovascular health. 2. Cod liver oil. One of the most concentrated sources of vitamin D, cod liver oil has been used for decades as a supplement for bone health and to prevent rickets. A single teaspoon can contain upwards of 400 to 1000 IU of vitamin D. Besides vitamin D, it is also rich in vitamin A and omega-3 fatty acids. Note, because of its high vitamin A content, cod liver oil should be taken with caution and under medical supervision to avoid excessive intake. 3. Egg yolks. Egg yolks naturally contain vitamin D, but amounts vary depending on the hen's diet and exposure to sunlight. Eggs from pasture-raised or free-range chickens tend to have higher vitamin D content. One large egg yolk typically contains about 20 to 40 IU of vitamin D. Including eggs regularly in your diet is an easy way to add a small but valuable boost to your vitamin D intake. 4. Fortified foods. Because natural sources of vitamin D are relatively rare, many food manufacturers fortify their products with vitamin D to help address widespread deficiencies. Common fortified foods include milk and plant-based milks, such as almond, soy, and oat milk, often fortified to match or exceed vitamin D levels in cow's milk. Orange juice, some brands fortify their juice to provide a vitamin D boost. Breakfast cereals, many cereals are fortified with vitamin D, making them a convenient way to increase intake. Yogurt and margarine, also sometimes fortified, depending on the brand and region. Be sure to check food labels for vitamin D content, as fortification levels can vary significantly between products and countries. 5. Beef liver. Though less commonly consumed, beef liver is a potent source of vitamin D and other important nutrients like iron and vitamin A. A 3-ounce serving of cooked beef liver contains approximately 50 IU of vitamin D. Its rich nutrient profile supports overall health but should be eaten in moderation due to its high vitamin A content. 6. Cheese. Cheese contains small amounts of vitamin D, with variations depending on the type and processing. Hard cheeses like Swiss and cheddar have modest amounts. While cheese is not a significant vitamin D source on its own, it can contribute to overall intake as part of a balanced diet. Why diet alone might not be enough. Even with these foods included in your diet, it can be challenging to meet the recommended daily intake of vitamin D solely from food, especially for individuals with increased needs, such as older adults, people with limited sun exposure, or those living in northern latitudes. For example, the average person would need to eat several servings of fatty fish per week to reach optimal vitamin D levels from food alone. This might not be practical or desirable for everyone due to dietary preferences, allergies, or ethical choices such as vegetarianism or veganism. Strategies to maximize vitamin D intake through diet. Incorporate fatty fish into meals 2 to 3 times per week. Try grilled salmon, sardine salad, or mackerel sandwiches. Choose fortified products, read labels and select milk, plant-based alternatives, and cereals fortified with vitamin D. Add eggs to your diet. Boiled, poached, or scrambled eggs are easy ways to include vitamin D. Consider cod liver oil supplements if appropriate, especially during winter months or when sun exposure is minimal. Balance your diet with a variety of vitamin D-containing foods to ensure you also receive complementary nutrients essential for bone and immune health, such as calcium, magnesium, and vitamin K2. Special note for vegetarians and vegans. Because most natural sources of vitamin D are animal-based, vegetarians and vegans may struggle to meet their vitamin D needs through diet alone. Fortified plant-based milks and cereals become essential. Vitamin D2 supplements or vegan-certified vitamin D3 derived from lichen can help bridge the gap. Mushrooms exposed to UV light are another valuable vegan source of vitamin D2, though their potency varies. Summary. Food plays an indispensable role in a comprehensive vitamin D strategy, complementing sunlight and supplementation. By consciously choosing vitamin D-rich foods and fortified products, you can maintain better control over your vitamin D status year-round, support your bone health, immune function, and overall well-being, all while protecting your skin from excessive sun exposure. Chapter 5: The Role of Supplements. While sunlight and diet are the primary natural ways to obtain vitamin D, for many people, supplementation becomes an essential part of maintaining adequate vitamin D levels. This is especially true for individuals living in regions with limited sunlight during winter months, those with darker skin tones, older adults whose skin synthesizes vitamin D less efficiently, and people with medical conditions that impair vitamin D absorption or metabolism. Why supplementation may be necessary. Vitamin D deficiency is widespread globally, affecting over 1 billion people, according to numerous studies. Even with a balanced diet and sensible sun exposure, certain factors may make it difficult to achieve optimal vitamin D status. Geographic location: people living above 37 degrees latitude receive insufficient UVB rays during fall and winter to produce enough vitamin D. Skin pigmentation: higher melanin content in darker skin reduces vitamin D synthesis. Aging reduces the skin's ability to produce vitamin D. Lifestyle factors: spending most of the time indoors, use of sunscreen, and clothing coverage all limit sun exposure. Medical conditions: diseases like celiac, Crohn's disease, obesity, or kidney and liver disorders can impair absorption and conversion of vitamin D. In these cases, supplementation is a safe and effective way to boost vitamin D levels. How much vitamin D do you need? The amount of vitamin D each person needs can vary based on age, health status, lifestyle, and existing vitamin D levels. Health organizations provide general guidelines. Adults under 70 years old, the recommended dietary allowance, RDA, is 600 international units, IU, per day. Adults over 70 years old, the RDA increases to 800 IU per day to counteract decreased skin synthesis and increased risk of bone fractures. Optimal levels: many experts argue that 1,000 to 2,000 IU daily may be necessary to maintain serum 25-OH-D, the main circulating form of vitamin D, levels in the optimal range of 30 to 60 nanograms per milliliter, ml. Upper limits: the safe upper intake level is generally considered to be 4,000 IU daily for most adults, although higher doses are sometimes prescribed under medical supervision for deficiency correction. It's important to tailor supplementation to your individual needs, ideally under healthcare guidance and with periodic blood testing to avoid both deficiency and toxicity. Different forms of vitamin D supplements. Vitamin D supplements come mainly in two forms, each with unique characteristics. 1. Vitamin D2, ergocalciferol. Derived from plant sources such as fungi and yeast. Commonly used in fortified foods and some supplements. While effective, research shows vitamin D2 is less potent and has a shorter duration of action in raising and maintaining blood vitamin D levels compared to D3. 2. Vitamin D3, cholecalciferol. Derived mainly from animal sources, such as lanolin from sheep's wool. More effective and longer lasting at raising serum 25-OH-D levels. Vegan versions are now available, derived from lichen, a type of symbiotic algae fungus organism, making it suitable for plant-based diets. Generally the preferred form for supplementation due to superior bioavailability. Best practices for taking vitamin D supplements. To maximize the effectiveness and safety of vitamin D supplementation, consider these best practices. 1. Take with meals containing fat. Vitamin D is fat-soluble, meaning it dissolves in fats and oils. Taking supplements with a meal that includes healthy fats, such as avocado, nuts, olive oil, or fatty fish, improves absorption significantly. 2. Consistent daily or weekly dosing. Some people take vitamin D daily, while others take higher doses weekly or monthly. Daily intake is generally preferred for steady blood levels, but weekly dosing can be effective and convenient, especially under medical supervision. 3. Monitor your levels through blood tests. Regular testing of serum 25-OH-D levels is the most reliable way to ensure you are neither deficient nor reaching toxic levels. Ideal ranges for optimal health generally fall between 30 and 60 nanograms per milliliter. Below 20 nanograms per milliliter is considered deficient and may require higher supplementation. Levels above 100 nanograms per milliliter could indicate toxicity and may require dosage adjustment. 4. Avoid excessive supplementation without medical guidance. Although rare, vitamin D toxicity can occur, especially with prolonged intake of very high doses. Symptoms include nausea, vomiting, weakness, and kidney problems caused by hypocalcemia, high calcium levels. Always follow recommended dosages and consult your healthcare provider before significantly increasing your vitamin D intake. Who should consider supplementation? Individuals with limited sun exposure, those living in northern latitudes or spending most of their time indoors. Older adults, reduced skin synthesis and increased risk of osteoporosis and fractures make supplementation important. People with darker skin tones, higher melanin reduces vitamin D synthesis, necessitating higher supplementation or sun exposure. Breastfed infants, breast milk contains low vitamin D, so supplementation is often recommended. People with malabsorption disorders, conditions like celiac disease, Crohn's disease, cystic fibrosis, and bariatric surgery patients may need supplements. Obese individuals, vitamin D is sequestered in fat tissue, reducing bioavailability. People on certain medications, some drugs interfere with vitamin D metabolism, including anticonvulsants, glucocorticoids, and antifungals. Types of supplement forms. Vitamin D supplements are available in various forms to suit preferences and needs. Tablets and capsules, the most common form, often combined with calcium or other vitamins. Liquid drops, useful for infants, children, or people with swallowing difficulties, allow easy dose adjustments. Chewable tablets or gummies, popular for children and adults who prefer a more palatable option. Injectable vitamin D, administered in clinical settings for severe deficiency or malabsorption, under medical supervision. Summary. Vitamin D supplementation is a safe, convenient, and effective way to maintain optimal vitamin D levels, especially when sun exposure and dietary intake are insufficient. By understanding the different forms of vitamin D, appropriate dosages, and best practices for supplementation, you can support your bone health, immune function, mood regulation, and overall well-being, all while minimizing risks and ensuring long-term health benefits. Chapter 6: Lifestyle Habits that Help Vitamin D Absorption. While ensuring sufficient intake of vitamin D through sunlight, diet, or supplements is essential, it's equally important to recognize that your lifestyle profoundly influences how effectively your body absorbs and utilizes this vital nutrient. Vitamin D is fat-soluble, meaning it requires a healthy digestive system and certain metabolic conditions to be properly absorbed and activated. Below, we explore several key lifestyle habits that can enhance your vitamin D absorption and overall vitamin D status, helping you get the most out of every source. 1. Healthy gut equals better absorption. The health of your gastrointestinal (GI) tract is foundational to nutrient absorption, especially fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin D. A compromised gut environment can dramatically reduce your ability to absorb vitamin D from food and supplements. Role of the gut microbiome. Your gut microbiota, the trillions of beneficial bacteria residing in your intestines, play a crucial role in digestion, metabolism, and immune regulation. A balanced and diverse microbiome supports the breakdown and absorption of nutrients, including vitamin D. Common gut issues that impair absorption, conditions such as leaky gut syndrome, inflammatory bowel diseases like Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, celiac disease, and small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, SIBO, can reduce the intestinal lining's ability to absorb fat-soluble vitamins effectively. How to support gut health for better vitamin D absorption. Probiotic-rich foods include yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, miso, tempeh, and other fermented vegetables in your diet to introduce and maintain beneficial bacteria. Prebiotic fibers, foods like garlic, onions, asparagus, bananas, and oats feed good bacteria and promote a healthy gut environment. Limit processed foods and sugar. Excessive intake can disrupt the microbiome balance, leading to inflammation and impaired absorption. Stay hydrated. Adequate water intake supports digestion and nutrient transport. Supplementation consideration. If you suffer from digestive issues, consider probiotic supplements or work with a healthcare professional to address underlying problems that may impair vitamin D absorption. 2. Limit alcohol and smoking. Lifestyle choices such as alcohol consumption and smoking have been shown to negatively impact vitamin D metabolism and bone health. Alcohol's impact. Chronic alcohol intake interferes with the liver and kidneys, the organs responsible for converting vitamin D into its active forms, calcidiol and calcitriol. It can also lead to poor dietary habits, malabsorption, and reduced calcium absorption, collectively increasing the risk of bone loss and fractures. Smoking effects. Smoking increases oxidative stress and inflammation in the body, which impairs bone remodeling and vitamin D metabolism. Smokers tend to have lower circulating levels of vitamin D. And smoking is linked to decreased bone mineral density and higher risk of osteoporosis. Recommendations. If you consume alcohol, do so in moderation. The CDC defines moderate drinking as up to 1 drink per day for women and up to 2 drinks per day for men. Consider smoking cessation programs or support if you currently smoke, as quitting not only improves vitamin D status but also overall health. 3. Exercise regularly. Engaging in regular physical activity, particularly weight-bearing and resistance exercises, has a beneficial effect on both vitamin D metabolism and bone health. Vitamin D and exercise synergy. Exercise stimulates bone formation and remodeling. It also enhances the body's responsiveness to vitamin D by promoting the activity of vitamin D receptors in various tissues. Weight-bearing activities. Activities such as walking, jogging, hiking, dancing, tennis, and resistance training help maintain or increase bone density by applying mechanical stress to bones, signaling the need for strengthening. Muscle strength and balance. Strong muscles support bone health and reduce the risk of falls and fractures. Vitamin D plays a role in muscle function, so regular exercise complements vitamin D's benefits. Outdoor exercise. Exercising outdoors combines physical activity with sun exposure, which naturally supports vitamin D synthesis, a twofold benefit. 4. Maintain a healthy weight. Body fat influences how vitamin D is stored and utilized in your body, making healthy weight management a crucial aspect of vitamin D status. Vitamin D sequestration in fat tissue. Vitamin D is fat-soluble, meaning it can be stored in fat cells. In individuals with excess body fat, obesity, a significant amount of vitamin D can become trapped in fat tissue, reducing its availability in the bloodstream where it is needed for biological functions. Impact on vitamin D levels. Studies have found that people with higher body mass indexes, BMIs, often have lower circulating levels of vitamin D, despite similar intakes or sun exposure. This sequestration effect means that obese individuals may require higher doses of vitamin D supplementation to achieve optimal serum levels. Weight management benefits. Losing excess weight can improve vitamin D bioavailability. A balanced diet combined with regular exercise supports both healthy weight and nutrient metabolism. Weight loss can also reduce chronic inflammation, which positively affects vitamin D metabolism. Additional lifestyle tips to optimize vitamin D utilization. Avoid excessive use of sunscreens. While sunscreens protect against harmful UV radiation, excessive use can significantly reduce vitamin D synthesis. Apply sunscreen strategically, protect sensitive areas like the face but allow brief, unprotected exposure on larger body parts for vitamin D production. Manage chronic stress. Prolonged stress raises cortisol levels, which may negatively affect vitamin D metabolism and bone health. Practices such as meditation, yoga, and deep breathing exercises can help maintain hormonal balance. Get adequate sleep. Quality sleep supports hormone regulation, including those involved in vitamin D metabolism and bone remodeling. Summary. Optimizing vitamin D absorption and utilization requires more than just getting enough vitamin D from sun exposure, food, or supplements. A holistic approach that includes nurturing gut health, limiting harmful habits like smoking and excessive alcohol intake, engaging in regular physical activity, and maintaining a healthy body weight can significantly enhance how your body processes and benefits from this vital nutrient. By integrating these lifestyle habits into your daily routine, you empower your body to maximize vitamin D's many health benefits, from strong bones and a resilient immune system to balanced mood and overall wellness. Chapter 7: Special considerations for different groups. Vitamin D needs and challenges vary significantly across different age groups, skin tones, and health conditions. Understanding these differences is essential for ensuring adequate vitamin D status and avoiding deficiencies, which can have serious health consequences. In this chapter, we explore how vitamin D metabolism and requirements differ for infants, children, older adults, people with darker skin, and those with certain medical conditions. Infants and children. Ensuring adequate vitamin D in infants and children is crucial for healthy bone development, immune function, and long-term wellness. Breastfed infants and vitamin D. Breast milk is considered the optimal source of nutrition for newborns, providing essential fats, proteins, antibodies, and micronutrients. However, it naturally contains very little vitamin D, typically only about 10 to 80 IU per liter, which is far below the recommended daily intake. Because infants have limited sun exposure, due to fragile skin and protection from UV radiation, they are at high risk for vitamin D deficiency without supplementation. Deficiency in infancy can lead to rickets, a condition characterized by soft, weak bones, delayed growth, and skeletal deformities. Supplementation recommendations. The American Academy of Pediatrics, AAP, recommends that all breastfed and partially breastfed infants receive 400 IU of vitamin D daily, starting within the first few days of life. Formula-fed infants. Infant formulas are typically fortified with vitamin D, so formula-fed infants who consume at least 1 liter of formula per day usually get enough vitamin D without extra supplements. Children and adolescents. As children grow, vitamin D continues to support bone growth and immune function. Adequate vitamin D status during childhood helps ensure proper calcium absorption and reduces the risk of fractures and bone disorders. However, many children today spend more time indoors due to increased screen time and urban lifestyles, leading to reduced sun exposure. This makes a combination of diet, responsible sun exposure, and supplementation important to maintain healthy vitamin D levels. Older adults. Aging profoundly impacts vitamin D synthesis, absorption, and metabolism, making older adults particularly vulnerable to deficiency. Reduced skin capacity for vitamin D production. As skin ages, its concentration of 7-dehydrocholesterol, the precursor molecule converted by UVB rays into vitamin D3, decreases by about 50 to 75% compared to young skin. This means older adults produce significantly less vitamin D from the same amount of sunlight. Lifestyle factors. Many seniors spend less time outdoors due to mobility limitations, chronic illness, or lifestyle choices, further reducing natural vitamin D synthesis. Impaired kidney function. The kidneys convert vitamin D into its active form, calcitriol. Age-related decline in kidney function can impair this activation process, reducing vitamin D's effectiveness. Higher risk of deficiency consequences. Vitamin D deficiency in older adults increases the risk of osteoporosis, falls, fractures, muscle weakness, and impaired immune function. Supplementation needs. Older adults may require higher doses of vitamin D supplements, often 800 IU a day or more, to maintain optimal serum levels and support bone and muscle health. Monitoring and medical advice. Regular blood testing for vitamin D status is advised, especially for those living in care facilities or with limited sun exposure. People with darker skin. Melanin, the pigment responsible for skin color, acts as a natural sunscreen by absorbing and blocking ultraviolet rays, including UVB rays essential for vitamin D synthesis. Melanin and vitamin D synthesis. Individuals with darker skin tones have higher melanin content, which reduces the skin's ability to produce vitamin D efficiently when exposed to sunlight. This means they require longer or more intense sun exposure to generate the same amount of vitamin D as lighter-skinned individuals. Geographical implications. For people with darker skin living in higher latitudes, farther from the equator, where UVB intensity is weaker, the risk of vitamin D deficiency is elevated, especially during fall and winter months. Health risks. Despite having a lower risk of skin cancer due to melanin's protective effect, people with darker skin have higher prevalence rates of vitamin D deficiency, which can contribute to osteoporosis, immune dysfunction, and other health issues. Practical advice. Those with darker skin should consider spending longer periods in the sun while still avoiding sunburn, including vitamin D-rich foods in their diet, considering supplementation if necessary, particularly during months with limited sunlight. People with medical conditions affecting vitamin D absorption or metabolism. Certain health conditions can significantly impair the body's ability to absorb, metabolize, or activate vitamin D, necessitating special attention and often medical supervision. Gastrointestinal disorders. Diseases such as celiac disease, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and cystic fibrosis can damage the intestinal lining or cause malabsorption of fat-soluble vitamins, including vitamin D. Liver disorders. The liver plays a critical role in converting vitamin D into 25-hydroxyvitamin D, the main circulating form measured in blood tests. Chronic liver diseases, such as hepatitis or cirrhosis, can impair this process. Kidney disorders. The kidneys convert 25-hydroxyvitamin D into its active hormonal form, calcitriol. Chronic kidney disease or kidney failure reduces this conversion, leading to functional vitamin D deficiency even if blood levels of 25-hydroxyvitamin D appear normal. Obesity. Excess adipose tissue sequesters vitamin D, lowering its bioavailability and necessitating higher intake or supplementation. Medications. Certain medications, such as anticonvulsants, e.g., phenytoin, glucocorticoids, and some weight loss drugs, can interfere with vitamin D metabolism or absorption. Recommendations. People with these conditions should work closely with healthcare providers to monitor vitamin D levels regularly and tailor supplementation or treatment accordingly. Summary. Vitamin D needs are not one size fits all. Age, skin pigmentation, health status, and lifestyle all influence how much vitamin D you need and how effectively your body can produce or absorb it. Infants and children require supplementation due to limited dietary sources and sun exposure. Older adults face reduced synthesis and activation capacity. People with darker skin need longer sun exposure due to melanin's protective effect. Those with certain medical conditions may require specialized approaches to maintain adequate levels. By recognizing these unique challenges and tailoring vitamin D strategies accordingly, individuals can better protect their bone health, immune function, and overall well-being. Chapter 8: Frequently asked questions, FAQs. Navigating the complex information about vitamin D can be challenging, especially with conflicting advice and myths circulating widely. To help clarify common doubts, we've compiled detailed answers to some of the most frequently asked questions about vitamin D, sun exposure, supplementation, and safety. Q1. Can I get vitamin D through a window? Short answer, no. Glass blocks the UVB rays necessary for your skin to produce vitamin D. Detailed explanation. While sunlight streaming through a window might feel warm and bright, it does not provide the UVB radiation required for vitamin D synthesis in the skin. Typical window glass is designed to block UVB rays effectively. This is great for protecting interiors and your skin from harmful radiation, but means that sitting by a sunny window will not help your body make vitamin D. Windows usually allow UVA rays to pass through, which can contribute to skin aging and damage, but do not stimulate vitamin D production. Therefore, if you rely solely on sunlight filtered through windows, such as working indoors near a window all day, your vitamin D levels may not improve. What to do? For vitamin D synthesis, direct sun exposure on uncovered skin outdoors is necessary, or alternatively, obtain vitamin D through diet and supplements. Q2. Can sunscreen prevent vitamin D production? Short answer, yes, sunscreens reduce vitamin D production, but typical use still allows some synthesis. Detailed explanation. Sunscreens are designed to block or absorb UV radiation to protect your skin from burns, premature aging, and cancer. Most sunscreens effectively block UVB rays, which are the very rays responsible for initiating vitamin D synthesis in the skin. In theory, applying a broad-spectrum sunscreen with a high sun protection factor, SPF, of 30 or more can reduce vitamin D production by up to 95 to 98%. However, real-world studies show that people rarely apply sunscreen perfectly or uniformly. In practice, small amounts of UVB still reach the skin, enabling some vitamin D synthesis to occur even when sunscreen is used. Balancing sun safety and vitamin D. It's important to avoid sunburn, which significantly increases skin cancer risk. Brief periods of sun exposure, about 10 to 30 minutes, without sunscreen on larger body areas like arms and legs, can help your body produce vitamin D safely. For the face, which is particularly sensitive and prone to skin cancer, it's recommended to use mineral-based sunscreens with zinc oxide or titanium dioxide that offer physical protection. Key takeaway. Use sunscreen to protect vulnerable areas but allow limited, controlled sun exposure without sunscreen for vitamin D production, especially during optimal times of day. Q3. What's the best time of year to get vitamin D from sunlight? Short answer, late spring to early autumn is the best time for vitamin D synthesis, especially in northern latitudes. Detailed explanation. The ability of your skin to produce vitamin D depends heavily on the angle of the sun, which changes with the seasons and latitude. During late spring through early autumn, roughly April to September, the sun is high enough in the sky in most temperate regions to provide sufficient UVB rays for vitamin D synthesis. In winter months, especially in locations above 37 degrees latitude north or south, the sun's angle is too low, and UVB rays are largely absorbed by the atmosphere before reaching the Earth's surface. This means the skin cannot produce enough vitamin D regardless of the time spent outdoors. This seasonal effect leads to common patterns of vitamin D deficiency during winter and early spring in many populations. For people living in northern regions, it is especially important to maximize sun exposure during the sunnier months. Consider vitamin D-rich foods and supplements during the winter months to maintain adequate levels. Q4. Is too much vitamin D harmful? Short answer, yes, although vitamin D toxicity is rare, excessive intake can cause serious health problems. Detailed explanation. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, meaning it can accumulate in the body's fat tissues and liver. While it is essential for health, very high levels can lead to toxicity, also known as hypervitaminosis D. Symptoms of vitamin D toxicity include nausea and vomiting, loss of appetite, weakness and fatigue, excessive thirst and frequent urination, kidney damage or formation of calcium stones, elevated blood calcium levels, hypocalcemia, which can lead to confusion, heart rhythm problems, and even calcification of soft tissues. How does toxicity happen? Usually due to excessive supplementation rather than sun exposure. The body regulates vitamin D production from sunlight, preventing toxicity through natural feedback mechanisms. Taking extremely high doses, often above 10,000 IU per day, over extended periods without medical supervision increases the risk. Recommended safe limits. The Institute of Medicine suggests a tolerable upper intake level of 4,000 IU day for most adults. Some doctors may prescribe higher doses temporarily for deficiency treatment, but this should be monitored with regular blood tests. Important note: always consult your healthcare provider before starting high-dose vitamin D supplements and consider regular blood tests to ensure levels remain within the optimal range, generally 30 to 60 nanograms per milliliter. Additional common questions. Question: how much sun exposure do I need daily for vitamin D? A. It depends on your skin tone, location, and time of year, but generally, about 10 to 30 minutes of midday sun on arms and legs a few times per week is sufficient. Question: can I rely on tanning beds for vitamin D? A. No. Tanning beds primarily emit UVA rays, which do not promote vitamin D synthesis and increase the risk of skin cancer. They are not a safe or recommended source of vitamin D. Question: are there symptoms of vitamin D deficiency I should watch for? A. Deficiency can cause fatigue, bone pain, muscle weakness, mood changes, and increased susceptibility to infections. However, these symptoms are non-specific, so testing is the best way to confirm. Summary: vitamin D synthesis and maintenance are nuanced processes influenced by environmental, lifestyle, and individual factors. While sun exposure is the most natural way to boost vitamin D levels, it must be balanced carefully to protect skin health. Supplements and diet play important complementary roles. Understanding the interplay of these factors will empower you to make informed decisions for your health. Conclusion: a balanced approach is key. Getting enough vitamin D doesn't have to come at the expense of your skin health. With a smart, balanced approach that includes safe sun exposure, a nutrient-rich diet, thoughtful supplementation, and supportive lifestyle habits, you can optimize your vitamin D levels without increasing your risk of skin damage. Stay informed, stay protected, and most importantly, stay thriving. Subscribe to ThriveSphere for more evidence-based, practical health content that empowers you to take control of your wellness naturally.